What's up, all my Ewoks, tribbles, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Andor because Season 2 dropped with the first 3 episodes, and boy, are they causing some controversy. And to address the elephant in the room, the grape scenes that are the implied and then later on like attempt at grape scenes that are, yes, actually in a Star Wars show. And remember, guys, Star Wars is a kid's show that's about space wizards with laser swords. And if you criticize in any way, shape, or form, well, you're just an overgrown man baby living in your mother's basement, right? So remember that. The same people that would, get on me and other people like me that were criticizing Disney Star Wars, oh, it's just for kids show. And those are the same people that are defending the fact that there is now grape in Star Wars. Does it make any sense? No. But yes, it's there, it does happen, and it is just as bad, if not worse, as what you guys are probably thinking. Now, this is my tweet that I have pulled up, and this is basically the synopsis of it. An Imperial officer tries to grape Bix using the power dynamic that she's an illegal and he can deport her. No, I'm not kidding. That's the actual plot premise. It's dumb, and it honestly has no place in Star Wars, and I see people on my timeline going crazy because they're like, oh, but this is so modern. It's like, guys, Star Wars isn't supposed to be modern. It takes place in a galaxy far, far away. It's not present day California or Texas, right? It's not the United States of America that is dealing with, immigration problems. No, it's Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away. Putting in this current day news headline clickbait stuff in Star Wars, it's not going to age well, and it doesn't make any sense, nor does it belong there, nor is it even entertaining. Which is my key point. If you guys are going to be making Star Wars and telling stories, they at the very least have to be entertaining. This just isn't. And I'm going to explain why. Now, as you guys can see up here on the screen, I have 4 pictures because they basically represent the 4 different plot lines that we see throughout all 3 of these episodes. Now, I'm going to start with Andor because even though the show is named after him and it's supposed to be a show about him, he actually has the least amount of screen time and storyline in all 3 of these episodes. And if you guys were thinking, that's weird, so the show's basically about 3 women? Yes. Yes, it is. Bait and switch. There you go. You guys were thinking it, but I said it. So you guys want to know how exciting Andor is in his own show, like this, oh my gosh, epic plot, which is, the reason why he's basically non-existent in all 3 episodes. Well, the show starts off with him stealing a tie-in scepter, except he doesn't know how to fly a tie-in scepter. He doesn't even know how to work the gadgets in a tie-in scepter, and it's just a perfect illustration of how the Empire are absolute idiot morons that don't know how to, stop someone from stealing their own property. And so he steals the tie-in scepter, he breaks down in outer space, he crash lands on this planet, and there's people there that were abandoned but not abandoned because their team, I guess, took the ship to go back to save other people. And so there's this weird kind of power dynamic. Well, Andor is held prisoner by these people, even though he tries over and over again to tell them that they are on the same team. Great communication skills, by the way. And it ends up with them coming down to like a shoot-off where some people have his ship and he's tied up on their broken ship, and then there's animals, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have a face-off instead of just killing each other. And guys, get this, the way that they decide who's going to be in charge and, the ceasefire, they play a game of rock, paper, scissors, and the best out of 5 wins. I kid you not. So if anyone tries to use that argument, this is well written, this is genius writing, I want you to bring up that scene because it's retarded. So while these guys are distracted playing rock, paper, scissors, he escapes, gets back to his ship. There's actually some kind of like weird alien dinosaur that knocks a bunch of them out. He gets in his ship and takes off. And as he's flying away, we see that they are on none other than Yavin 4 from A New Hope. Yay, member berries, yay, yay, yay. And then what does Andor do the rest of the time? He shows up in the 3rd episode to save Bix and the other dude that's left alive. And that's what he does in these 3 episodes of his own show. I meant it when I said this show wasn't entertaining. So the rest of the 3 episodes consist of plot lines from these 3 women that I have on the screen now. This chick, I can never remember her name, so I'm just going to refer to her as Blondie. And then, of course, we have Mon Mothma and Bix. Now, let's just go to Blondie since she's easy. Nothing really happens with her either. So she is now, I guess, dating and living with that dude from season 1 that was, Imperial, and then he was living with his mother for whatever reason. Somehow they got together. I must have missed that. And she is at some secret meeting that Krennic, the big bad guy from Rogue One, is holding, and how they want to take over this planet that is making basically their version of silk with these spiders, and they want to take over this planet because the entire planet just mass produce, their linens and stuff, and so they just want to take over that planet. And Krennic goes up to her because he's like, you had a plan before I was even done with my sentence, and then she's like, well, you got to do this, da-da-da-da. So she's like some evil genius. And then it cuts to her and her boyfriend getting ready because his mother is going to come over for dinner. I'm not kidding. That's really what happens. And then the mother's being overbearing, as most mothers are. And once the boy leaves the room, she basically has a one-on-one with the mother being like, this is how it's going to be, lays down the law, and she obviously wears the pants in the relationship. And that is her plot in 3 episodes. Now, Mon Mothma's plot throughout these first 3 episodes is probably the most interesting just because there's the most going on. She is preparing for her daughter's wedding. So her daughter gets married in the 3rd episode, but the first 2 episodes are like all the prep and setting up all the social dynamics for the 3rd episode, which is the wedding, and her trying to be a good mom, and like her daughter just completely giving her the cold shoulder, while also dealing with Stellan Skarsgård and then her old friend who I guess is about to turn on her. And the big plot twist at the end is Stellan Skarsgård is basically like, he's a liability, and she's like, but I've known him my whole life. And basically that friend gets into a car or a speeder and is most likely never going to be seen or heard from again. And that's how it was implied. So Mon Mothma's whole plot arc is that she has to kill off one of her friends because he's a liability and could potentially betray the fact that she has been financing the Rebel Alliance. So like I said, she probably has the most entertaining plot arc, and I use this term very, very loosely because even it's not very fun or entertaining to watch. But now let's get on to Bix, the whammon of the hour, the victim of the week, as Disney is probably going to drag it on until the end of time. We even had the director of the show come out and say that everyone is actually a product of rape. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want some random dude I've never met before speaking on my behalf, trying to talk about my life experiences. This just shows how out of touch these people are, and it actually makes a lot of sense to me why the show is so bad if that is the person that is in charge of making it. It says a lot. But whatever, if that's the hill that they want to die on, there's this famous quote where it's like, don't correct your enemies when they're making a mistake. I'm just going to let them have this one. Whatever, dude. Great job. But so let's get on to her plot. So it's her and 2 other dudes that I vaguely remember from season 1. That's how memorable the show was. It's like I'm grasping at straws to try to remember these people, and I had to watch that entire thing. But the show and these characters are so poorly written that I was grasping at straws trying to remember who the heck these 2 dudes were. But basically the plot for her is that she got out of, being interrogated by the Empire. She's having PTSD nightmares of how she was sexually assaulted while being a prisoner of the Empire. And her and these 2 other dudes are illegals working as mechanics on this planet where the entire industry is harvesting wheat. And they are worried because the Empire is there for routine inspections, and none of them have visas. So they are worried about getting deported from this planet. I'm serious. That's the plot. And so while they're worried about, oh, we're going to get deported because we don't have visas because we're here illegally hiding, this dude shows up while they're at the convenience store. And of course, he's the ultimate creeper. She lies and says that she has a husband. And then later on in episode 3, he somehow knows where she lives, shows up while she's there alone because the other dude was off having a last thing with his girlfriend, and so the other guy left to go find him, so she's alone. This dude shows up, and that's when he tries to grape her, and they get into a fight. She somehow kills him and is screaming for her life that he tried to grape her, which is defense for killing, and she expects the other Imperial dude that drove him there so he could grape her to take her side in all of this. So yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. It's almost as if they shoehorned this entire plot point into it so that way they could have a big virtue signal moment. Yay! But then, of course, at the end, right before the Empire is about to take all of them, Andor shows up and saves all of them, and they take off into the sunset. And that leads into, I guess, the next few episodes. But yeah, guys, that is basically a summary of the first 3 episodes. Wildly entertaining, right? I knew you guys were at the edge of your seats wondering what was going to happen, right? Yeah, I don't think so. And I really struggle to comprehend how anyone can argue that this show is well written, because it's not. Some people, I'm like, maybe they're just used to shit, and so somebody hands them, like, I don't know, a piss sandwich instead of a shit sandwich, and they're like, oh yay, it's something that's not shit, but it's still piss, guys. It's still not good. And just to put it a little bit more in perspective for you guys, each of these 3 episodes were about a little over 40 minutes long. Take in mind there's the intros and then the credits. And so each, again, a little bit over 40 minutes long. A New Hope, the very first Star Wars movie, is 2 hours and 1 minute long with, credits and the little intro. But for the original Star Wars, the intro is kind of part of the story, so it's important. So 2 hours and 1 minute divided by 3 is about 40 minutes. So each of these episodes combined would be the same length as A New Hope. And look at what George Lucas and everyone that worked on the original Star Wars movie was able to accomplish in those 2 hours versus what the, modern creators are doing with Star Wars and with this Andor show. It's pathetic. On a lighter note, guys, outside of doing, YouTube and pop culture commentary, I'm actually a professional artist, and if you guys are wondering where all these eyes were behind me, well, it's actually a project that I've been working on for the past 4 years called the Eye Project, where I was trying to better my skill by painting eyes, and every single eye that I painted was from a volunteer, from like one of you guys that's in my audience, and so all of you guys were awesome and supported me. I pretty much live streamed every single eye that I painted, and now I'm just asking for your guys' help to help me make this into a book. I have an Indiegogo that's live right now. This is a crowdfunder for me to crowdfund making this project into a book. Here is the first 100 eyes if you guys want to go and take a look and see it, like the progress that I made. Here is just a mock-up I made of the book. I want it to be hardcover. I wanted to have like that embossed like gold title and like trim and all of that. And I'm just super, super excited about this. This is 4 years of my life that I dedicated to, trying to better my skill. It wasn't intended to be 4 years. It just turned out that way. Great art takes time. And I'm so just like proud of myself that I was able to actually do it. And it's awesome that, I was able to, get you guys involved and you guys were able to help me out and make this happen. So now I'm just asking for your help one more time by making this book into reality, by going onto Indiegogo and backing this project now. This is also linked in the description of this video. If you guys want to go and check it out, all you have to do is go onto Indiegogo and type in the Eye Project, or type in the Eye Project Indiegogo to Google, and you guys will be able to find it. But it will be live for a little bit under 30 days now, so you guys can go and back it if you would like. I would sincerely appreciate it. You guys would help make this happen and make my dreams come true. But anyways, everyone, that is my review and breakdown of Andor Season 2, episodes 1 through 3. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about all of this down below in the comment section. Also, if you guys notice, I did try speaking slower in this video. I saw a few comments on my previous video saying that I speak too fast. I apologize. I naturally talk very quickly, so I did make a conscious effort to talk slower in this video, so I hope you appreciate it. And I will try to do my best in the future moving forward. But anyways, everyone, again, if you guys like this video, please smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. And if you guys like my channel, my content, take a minute, smash the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all, that we actually get notifications when I post videos and when I do live streams. And until next time, everyone, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.